Hello. Hi there. Welcome to StarCast, a Star Citizen podcast. And I'm joined tonight with Trendane, Pancakes, and Core of Existence. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
And Trendane's deciding to use forceps as
Hemostats.
I can't see from. He's trying to convince me he's not using it to smoke weed.
No, it's for the opera.
Oh, very opera. Very good. I still think you're smoking weed with it, but
I can't smoke weed. It gives me migraines.
That's right. We talked about this before.
Smoke hashish, it said.
Yeah, that's why I told him hashish is way better.
Mm-hmm. I don't think my housemates have dispensary cards for hash. So
it's too bad. Too bad. See,
I do.
Yeah, well, you live a little bit further away.
That doesn't really count.
All right, guys. So a lot of stuff happened. How many millions of dollars did we go up, or did Star Citizen go up in the past week? Yeah, it would be nice if we went up.
I didn't see any of it. What the hell?
Great.
Well, since the Hornet came out, it was probably around 700-ish.
Yeah, we jumped up big time. Or Robert Space
Industries. $700 million.
$700,000. Looking at the graph, it shot up crazy over the last couple of days. Everyone's trying to get them their Hornets.
Yep.
So, I guess we can go ahead and go to our first topic. Before we get started, though, real quick, a little bit of housekeeping that we usually do. This is a live show right now. It won't be live when you're watching it later. I hope that doesn't confuse you too much. But while it's live for right now, all you have to do is send in a question on the chat. We're watching this on Twitch. Put it in the brackets. And in the bracket, you say question, and then the person who is watching the Twitch, this happens to be Mr. Pancakes, is going to grab that question up and put it into our Q&A later on at the end of the show. All right. Hey, welcome, Metallica for Life. Welcome to your first StarCast. Our first question is...
We already have a question, Trendane. Would you like to answer it?
Does Trendane have a photo shoot on Saturday?
Yes. Well, which Saturday? This Saturday? No, I have a photo shoot rehearsal this Saturday.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So...
Practicing.
No.
Zenner Buffin said, is this show really live or is it all a clever ruse? Now, he wrote that 2 weeks ago when we recorded this show.
Yeah, it's actually a ruse.
It is a ruse, and now we're playing that back at that point.
Zenner Buffin.
That's the way we roll.
Is that why we're doing Q&A now at the beginning of the show?
No, we're doing it...
Because it's actually 2 weeks ago that we did this part?
We did this part. All right, so updates from last week. What came out that was new and exciting from SIG, Cloud Imperium Games?
SIG?
What's that? Pancakes?
I was saying SIG.
Oh, SIG.
Sorry. That's all I got.
Well, in the past week, we got the new Hornets, which are the 3 Hornet variants that are currently out, which is the Ghost, the Tracker, and the Super Hornet. And we also got a patch for the hangar to view said Hornets in the hangar themselves. Beyond that, we got a new stretch goal, which some people are going to be looking forward to, and other people are like, why the fuck is this a stretch goal?
Probably because they were traumatized as youth going to Disney World and riding a monorail, and they said, I can't do that. I'm terrified of monorails.
Yeah, that was kind of...
Monorails, best thing ever.
It was...
saying. Traumatized people...
It was so funny when they talked about the public transport system, and they talked about intersystem and interplanetary transportation, and then the first concept art they show is a monorail for intraplanet transportation.
It's a very fast monorail.
Yeah, of course.
But somebody did have a question once on our show that asked, would they ever do some kind of like Floston Paradise planet? The question was, would they ever have some sort of really cool ship that you could ride around like a Carnival cruise liner? And I think they did say in this that they were, one of the parts of the stretch goal was that they were going to have
Starliners.
Starliners.
How the hell do you do an intra-planet? Not an interplanet, because I was like, it's going to be really stretchy.
Well, you could have the monorail go right into space, and it sort of launches off the end of the monorail and flies in space till it gets to the next part, and it hooks up and lands.
We call that a lac mag, and no, it's just... or a mass driver. We're just going to shoot people at your planet.
Yeah.
No, but intraplanetary.
Intraplanetary. All right. Yeah. So there's stretch goals. Very exciting. Letter from the chairman. Basically, enhanced capital ships. We're just talking about, in addition to the command and control systems we've already outlined, we're going to expand capital ship functions, lead a damage control team to fight fires and repair key systems during battle, control internal bulkheads to slow borders, and man a number of consoles like navigation and engineering that will make commanding a capital ship feel even more immersive.
That sounds a bit FTL, doesn't it?
It sounds very FTL. And also, I can imagine having a lightsaber and shoving it into the bulkhead and cutting a hole in the door.
Look, it's a lockpick.
Exactly. I want lightsabers as a stretch goal, damn it.
Lightsabers would be pretty awesome.
It would be pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's the 26 million stretch goal. What's 25? I forgot what 25 is already because we're going through them so quick.
25 is the advanced alpha, or whatever it's called.
Right. Yes, the advanced alpha, so that they can test a wider variety of things.
Not too exciting, in my opinion, but
Well, it depends. Maybe that means that they're going to spend more time on the dogfighting module and put Idrises in there. We don't know if that's what it means, but if that's what it means, then yes, awesome. If that's not what it means, then boo.
yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Did you guys see? I want to put a special shout out, just talking about stuff that happened last week. One of the guys who also does YouTube videos, his name is Anything FPS.
Oh, yeah.
He does great videos.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody hasn't seen him yet, go watch them because he's a regular viewer of this show and he comments on my videos and a lot of other people's videos. But his work is amazing, and they offered him a job at SIG.
Yep.
That's right. Didn't Wingman say, "Dude, you haven't answered your email"?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Which means he's probably holding out. I think he should anyway. Be like, guys, I don't know. Maybe. I'll think about it for a couple weeks.
170 million's not enough.
Yeah.
Judging from the skills that he has, he's probably he was a CryEngine developer at some point. So that means he does have the skill to work on Star Citizen for sure.
Absolutely. He's pulling off stuff that I just keep dreaming about. Like, I started making a video the other day where I wanted to have a freelancer land on the moon, and I'm actually still working on it. But it took me like 4 hours, and it's literally just a 2D ship I cut out to land on the moon. It looks like it's 3D the way the camera's set up. But anyway, yeah, he's like flying through space. He's doing all this stuff. He's really good.
Yeah.
So, very excited for him. Even if he doesn't pick it up, he's definitely getting noticed by the guys at SIG.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike the rest of us making videos day in and day out, and they haven't mentioned us once. But hey, I'm not bitter.
I want all I can say is I want Anything FPS's hangar because that thing looks fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did. Oh yeah, by the way, he did have. It is available for download. He has. You can download the Connie, and he shows you how to install it. So even if you don't own a Connie, you can still open it up in your hangar.
Yep.
Which is awesome, and I'm thinking about doing that anyway because I don't have a Connie, but I'm looking at one. Maybe down the road a little ways.
Well, don't wait too long. November 26th is coming up quick.
Mm-hmm.
What is that date?
The LTI cutoff date. Any ship bought after this period will not contain LTI.
Oh. I don't think I have LTI. I mean, I have the freelancer, but it's...
Well, I would
like
like to point out that the guild that you're in, the TeamSpeak that you could join sometimes, there's people on there that will assist you in the transfer of LTI.
We'll do that. So that's Star Citizen Base, everybody. The Imperium.
Check it out.
Check it out. All right, so let's go on with our first actual topic tonight, which is commercials. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the two new commercials that came out in the last week or so. One is the Aurora and one is the Anvil. And we'll watch one commercial that we'll talk about what we saw in it, what we think about it, and then we will be back right afterwards with the next one. We'll go to the Hornet next. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start this up, and I'll mute our mics so that we don't make any noises while we're listening to the commercial.
Yeah.
All right, be right back.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets, too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do. Bigger cargo.
RSI's Aurora. There are many like it, but this one is yours.
All right, guys, so what do you think?
Well, it can at least avoid asteroids in this video.
Not shoot itself.
It was. It reminded me sort of like an Apple commercial, didn't it? It was sort of like kind of hipster.
It was a cross between the Sims commercials and the Apple commercials. It had both undertones, as in, you know, if anyone has seen like the Sims advertisements on TV come rolling around, they have the exact same tone, as in you see a guy and then it just swaps out his clothes, and then you see a house, and then the house gets added things on, and it's kind of happened. It kind of works the same way for this commercial, and the music is not exactly action-y in it,
no.
So
it's
it
very
fits.
kind of friendly, kind of I'm having my nice spaceship and fly around. Sorry, we should not mention Sims or any other EA game in the presence of Trendane. He started heaving over there.
Boycotting.
This is why I've made a special mention to The Sims.
Yeah. All right, what do you think there, Mr. Trendane? What do you think?
Well, I unfortunately I would completely agree with Core. Because when he just mentioned Apple first, I was like, yes, it's very Apple. Aside from the fact that you can customize it in any way, shape, or form.
Ooh, burn. I don't have a lighter, but burn.
I don't have my super jeweler torch with me, so it's so adding the thank you.
On cue.
Adding the other part to it.
Sims.
Great, now you're making me dance like Janet Jackson. No. So there, I guess that kind of covers my opinion there, I think.
All right, pancakes.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think?
I would tend to agree with Core that, you know, we had the nice Hornet commercial come out right after that, so.
And they did come out with the brochure, which is nice because I'm
kind of very nice.
I was planning on covering all of the ships once we had a lot of information on them, and I think I can probably do a video now on the Aurora because there's a commercial and the brochure.
However,
I like the commercial. I like that they've sort of like set it to a different tone.
You think? Because we're gonna watch the Hornet one next, and that one has a definitely different tone.
Yeah.
Hey, girl plays MC. Girl to. Hello. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to watch the Anvil one up next. Here we go.
Legendary fighter pilot Aria Riley once said, "Give me a fully loaded Hornet, and I'll shake the gates of heaven." Anvil Aerospace's Hornets have faced Vandal, Xi'an, pirates, and criminals. More combat time and kills in more theaters than any other ship in the history of space combat. Battle-tested in the harshest conditions, the Hornet has proven time and again its ability to withstand damage and still be able to dish it out. With all the punishment it handles on a daily basis, don't you think the new Hornet can handle yours?
Honey, I got the ice cream you wanted.
Anvil's new Hornet F7C. See your authorized ship dealer for options.
From a local dealer today.
All right. So, kind of a nifty shopping spree. The guy went on to get some ice cream.
Yeah. What neighborhood he went to?
That was one of my questions. He must love that woman. Something fierce.
She's one of the triple-breasted whores of Eroticon 6.
She's probably carrying a Vandal child and is like craving some really fracked up kind of ice cream that he's got to go to like some really freakish system to be able to. It's got like live frozen larvae in it and stuff. And she's,
would you probably just remember, space ice cream might not be made out of cow milk.
Ooh, good point.
Is it made out of bull's milk?
I hope not.
Because that would be.
You lost Pancakes. You have killed Pancakes. He's dead. Long live the Pancakes. Oh, man. So anyway, what did you guys think of the commercial?
Thank you.
We saw one video where the Aurora nicely dodged all the asteroids, and then we had another video where it just flew into an asteroid. So either, the Aurora is not that great for dodging asteroids, or
I was piloting it.
Or could we say that there is actually a tiny bit of skill involved with this game?
No, we can't.
A monicum?
No, you just have to buy the best ships. That's why.
Right. Like if you were in a Corvette, you just would have blown up all the asteroids in the area and just flew straight.
Yeah, probably.
You didn't have the turn. We'll get to that next. We're going to come up to a new topic in just a minute.
Spoilers.
The pilot sucked. Yes.
The funny thing about the commercials is actually that in the first one, you had the real vibe, and even in the original 300i one, they just showed the 300i, or they just showed the Aurora. Whereas in the Hornet one, it's just like, no, fuck the competition. We're just going to show the competition fly into an asteroid, and then get its ass handed to us by the 8 weapons that are on the Hornet. It can, of course, have 10, but I didn't see it fire any missiles, so let's not talk about those two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it basically what you see in the video is a little bit of propaganda for the Hornet, as where a lot of debate has actually sparked from, which is saying that the Hornet is overpowered. Yet
we haven't even got in the game yet. How do we know it's overpowered? I love these people that are freaking out about this stuff right now.
Anyone that had actually read the ship specifications before this commercial came out or before the variants came out knew that the Hornet could field up to 10 weapons. Yet now that there's a video about it blowing up the cheaper ships, it's like now it's overpowered.
Because you were asking people to do something that most people don't usually do. Read.
Yeah, no, true.
Yeah, we don't do that kind of thing here in America.
We don't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, Trendane, what did you think of the commercial, the Hornet commercial?
The comparison between the two, very different vibes between the two commercials, which I thought was really cool because, especially for a game that is trying to push the concept of you can, whatever kind of game experience you want to have, we'll have it. You've got the more peaceful version, and then you've got the thing. Mm-hmm. For this particular commercial, one of the things that struck me is that some of the stuff that the AI was doing was a little bit behind. Like, for example, you're in the cockpit view, and a missile goes by and explodes on an asteroid, and the AI says, hostile. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Thank you. I'm fully aware of that. I would like to have seen during the threading the needle part, going through the thing, I would like to have seen that the hole was too narrow for the ship and that it folded its foils back so that it could fit. I would like to have seen that called out specifically in this thing. I think that would have made it a little bit even more cool than it was. There was something else about, I can't remember what it was now.
The 300i that just flew in a straight line?
Another bad pilot.
Oh, it was the sound of the engines. I really liked the sound, even though there shouldn't be any in space, but I still liked it.
Yeah, I was watching Star Wars the other night, and it's just kind of one of those things where you're just going to have to just suspend
suspension
disbelief.
of belief.
Unless it's the Sonic Mines scene, because that was freaking amazing. In the whichever of the first three movies, when there was episode
those. They don't count for Star Wars for me.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, there's Ben Kenobi's flying through he's chasing Jango Fett. He's flying through an asteroid field, mm-hmm. and you hear nothing, and then there's this. I was like, God! Watching that in the theater was absolutely orgasmic. It was fantastic.
Metallica for Life says episode 2, and hello Oda-Ken. Sorry, some little shout outs.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I thought they're really great commercials. I think both of them kind of fit the type of person that might want to buy them. I don't think that a person who's really into combat will really want to go for the Aurora. But they made the Aurora seem cool and hip, which is nice because that's kind of a problem. People who are starting out with an Aurora, they're going to feel like they're just crap in the universe, and they're not. But they're going to start out with that sort of feeling, so they kind of made the Aurora feel, like if you're in Aurora, you're in a pretty cool ship, and you can always upgrade it, which is something that they wanted to pass out there.
Interesting fact about the Aurora that has now been sort of obscured because the information was on the old RSI website, mm-hmm. is that the Aurora is actually based off the original first jump-capable ship from 800 years ago.
Okay.
And it's kind of its spiritual successor. So in that sense, it is a good starter ship because it was literally the first ship that ever jumped through the gate. But it's still modeled after a 700-year-old ship, and the Hornet's modeled after a 200-year-old ship. So there is a difference in quality there.
Yeah. All right, well, good. That was a good thing. Anything for you, Mr. Pancake, specifically about the Hornet commercial?
I do very much so like the Weekend Warrior idea, though that's not anything new. So there you go.
Okay.
I like the pew-pews.
The pew-pews were very good in that commercial.
It's actually interesting to note, sorry that I'm cutting in, it's actually interesting to note that none of the current Hornet variants have the canard turret, which fits under the nose, but they're optional on every single one.
And I did notice that they hid the fans. Well, mostly. They're still there, but they're behind the grill on that one.
On the Super Hornet, yeah.
Probably because it's causing so much contention. Just like there's no sound in space, there's no air, but we won't go there now. All right.
Like the fans.
All right, so now we're going to enter into a realm of discussion which causes so much hate and misinformation and name-calling. On my channel, I made a video, just before we get into it too much, but it actually is on topic, so I can talk about it. But I made a video explaining how Star Citizen, in my opinion, was not pay to win. And I explained it that way. I said, this is why I think it's not. I've been called pretty much every name you can think of by all these people that find my video and just blast me for it. I mean, they are tearing me up, saying I'm an idiot, and a lot worse names than that, that I don't understand pay to win is. And all I'm getting is that these people don't understand the whole concept of the game. Like, this is not the way the game is going to operate when it's released. Like, when it's released, you're not going to be able to buy ships for real cash, are you?
No. You will be able to buy a daily limit of UEC, but that's mostly, they've done that out of a, like, they're going to limit it to a reasonable amount, just so that if, say, you come back to the game and you have absolutely no cash and no ship, you can at least buy something to get started again. But again, we're not talking about amounts that can instantly buy you any ship.
That's where I think the confusion comes in, is because they think that if you have enough money, you can right now buy an Idris and every other ship in the game, and then when the game comes out, it's the same exact way. They don't get that this is what they're giving us as sort of a reward for financing the game right now. Like, this is a reward for us by giving us a freelancer or what these other ships with these insurance policies.
I mean, crowdfunding is nothing new, but crowdfunding has nothing to do with pay to win. If there was something, and this is an interesting point, if there was something that we could get that other people can't, then the only topic of discussion would be LTI, and more specifically LTI on a Vandal site, because that's something most people won't be able to get in the game. Now, Chris Roberts has already retconned that statement and said there will be sort of shady companies that will give you basic insurance on a Vandal site. And LTI in itself has already been retconned to the point where, yes, 5 years from now, for instance, 5 years after the game comes out, if you break your ship, you'll get it back the way you pledged for it. However, if you have a ship with basic insurance, like for instance a 300i, and you get that blown up, you'll get whatever the next model in the line is. So that could be a 400i or a 500i, whatever the current model is that Origin is currently shipping for that type of craft. So basic insurance in the long haul is going to simply replace your old redundant ship with the newer model, whereas LTI will always give you back the old model that you had. So for the first year or so, I will happily admit that the people that have pledged will get a head start in that sense, and they will get ships that can get blown up almost free of cost, because if they don't upgrade it and just have it blown up, they get it back the way they got it, and you know, they don't lose any money over it because they don't have to pay for the insurance. But that's just, you know, it's like the premium version of a premium tank in World of Tanks, where those tanks aren't great. They aren't the top, and after a year they'll probably all be defunct or replaced or redundant, and then you can still make some money off them, but you know, the better ships are always going to handle better in PvP and stuff like that.
This brings up a point that Siberian just says. It's a question of how you define pay to win, and I think that's part of the issue here, is there really is no definition. And I made a joke on one of my comments. The guy wrote this really nasty comment to me, and I was like, well, look, I looked it up on the pay-to-win definition, and the pay-to-win definition says that I'm right. Well, there is no pay-to-win definition. There is nothing that says this is exactly how pay-to-win works. Because I am giving it with my opinion of what I think pay-to-win is. My opinion is just as valid as you saying that pay-to-win means that if you buy anything in the game and they give you something, then that's pay-to-win.
Yeah, a lot of people, the general consensus, which is actually funny because it's not what most people think, but the general consensus is pay to win is that you pay for something that other people cannot get through
Ever.
any normal means.
Right.
Yes.
That's my definition too.
And some games in the past, like 5 years ago, they use this model and they've been, ostracized for it.
Was it Silk Road was one of them, I think?
Yeah, for instance, a lot of old school MMORPGs that went from a subscription-based model to a free-to-play to a pay-to-win.
Right. You could buy the best sword in the game that nobody else could even earn. That, in my opinion, is pay-to-win because therefore it is. You're paying for something you can't get. As hard as it would be for you to get an Idris Corvette, there is still a way for you to be able to get one in this game. However you go about getting it, you can still get one.
And let's not forget, just because you're one player doesn't mean that you as a clan or as a guild or as a group of people can't get an Idris within a week, because you're all pooling together and you're all helping each other out. It's still possible.
That's the biggest complaint that people are coming up to me with. They're saying, well, all right, I have a freelancer, and they say, well, I'm starting the game out with an Aurora. It's going to take me thousands and thousands of hours to get that freelancer. Who says? We don't know how long it's going to take you. It could take you 5 runs and you're done. Now you have the same amount of money that I do having a freelancer. You have the same ship that I do. I had it a week longer than you did. So what?
Yeah.
I guess that's why they're getting a little bit fired up. What do you think, Trendane? You've been kind of quiet.
As much as it tends to cause flame wars, I think that people are being whiny little bitches about it quite often because they can't get what they want right the fuck now.
Right.
And the fact that, they could buy it as opposed to earn it, the hard way. They don't want to do that. They're impatient. It's just, this is going to get kind of not
go for it.
Political, but
I don't care.
Just
don't
the fact that
just don't say anything about Pelosi. Just anything that.
F that bitch, and I mean that in the most platonic way possible. Not as George Carlin said, I would not fuck her with a stolen dick. He was talking about.
Yes.
Anyway,
okay,
so
let's get back.
We've gotten to a point where we live in a disposable society of instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
It's if somebody cannot get what they want to win the game right now, it's pay to win. Because people have become so impatient, they don't want to spend the time to earn it any other way.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't you think the rest of us here that have bought our ships are kind of in that category? Like, we're a bit impatient, and we want that awesome ship right now. Like, I want a Constellation. So I'm going to figure out a way to save up to buy one.
Uh-huh.
So aren't we sort of saying that those people are upset because they can't buy it and they're jealous, and that's why? But we all do want one of these right now, and that's why we bought one.
There's another comment to tack on to that, and that is, we have still worked for our money. It's not like we got this money for free in like a gift basket or something and then spent it on the game. No, we worked for this money anyway. So the fact that we are willing to fork over this money to, 1, support CIG, and to 2, get a head start, how does that factor in?
It is just a head start, too. I mean,
unless you just inherit your money.
Well, then you've inherited money, yeah. But it is a head start. I mean, there's plenty of games. There's MMOs. I'll use SWTOR for an example, right? SWTOR, if you were a early backer with, I think, the whatever level that you paid to get the game ahead, they gave you like a 2 or 3 week head start before everybody else. Like, I got to play that game before everybody else did. The servers were empty because I paid all this money for this super mega wowie edition, right? And then once the servers opened up, it became kind of a crazy thing. But I had a big head start. I was already level like 25 or 30 by the time the servers even opened. And people, I don't think they called that pay to win, but they're calling this game pay to win because for some reason I get to fly a ship before you do. And I can't make that connection. Maybe it's because I'm sort of biased about it because I have a ship and these people don't.
Well, Rhoda says it in chat that, Chris Roberts says that you don't win the game. You just keep on going.
But I think they're upset that the fact that they might be able to go out, they're flying around their little crappy ass Aurora that they
Don't
start
call
off
it
with.
that. That kind of lends credence to their argument.
No, I'm using that. I'm talking from their
I know,
viewpoint.
I know.
They're calling it, this is my crappy ass Aurora, and they're flying around this thing, and here comes some guy in this slick 300i, and they shoot him out of the sky. And they're like, well, wait a second, that's not fair. I had to start off with this crappy ass ship, and this guy who bought one just flew it and kicked my ass. What do you guys say to that?
Well, there's another argument for that, and that is... well, you want to go,
Go ahead,
Pancake?
Pancake.
Yes. If you want to buy the game at a normal price, which is $60, you get a 300i.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, if you want to pay like you normally would, which, you know, we're still technically backing it, so I guess it is kind of risky, but, you know, if you were to pay normal price, you'd be having a 300i and not a crappy Aurora.
That's when I bought my 300i. I said, I'm looking at this game. I'm really interested in it. What should I do to get in on the ground floor and then support it? And $65 is what a 300i costs, and that's what I pay for most of my new games that come out. So I thought, if I pay this, here, I'm supporting them, and I get this cool ship.
Yeah, Siberian K made an interesting remark just now about a head start can win you a battle against someone without that head start. Pay to win, that's what some people think. But the thing is, right, just because you weren't able to bypass the Aurora doesn't mean the people in your guild weren't able to. So unless the argument is straight up, one guy is pay to win and one guy is not pay to win, well, it might just mean that that one guy is not paying his fucking school tuition this year because he spent it all on a friggin' Idris. So there's arguments for both sides, and it's just, at the end of the day, it comes down to what you are willing to put into the game. And for me, I'd like to save time with money, and other people would prefer to spend that time grinding. But again, it's a personal choice. It's not like, you know, one is worse than the other.
Absolutely. I'm playing a couple free-to-play games right now that they keep asking me if I want to buy some things, and I just say no. Like, I'm playing World of Tanks right now, using it as an example a minute ago, and I'm playing that, and I'm on purpose not buying anything so that I can sort of work my way up to this really awesome tank, and I'll know that I earned it. And there's some people that are not going to do that with Star Citizen. You can right now fund it. You can, without even getting a ship, you can just give them $5, and therefore you're a backer, and therefore you're helping out the game, but you're not getting a ship. And then when the game comes out, you can start off with your lowest level ship and work your way up. And if that's the way you want to play, cool. But don't beat up everybody else that want to somehow fund it for more money and get a better ship.
Because
And of course,
you are impatient.
And of course, you got to remember the people that don't pay, the people that don't buy into it, are not supporting the server costs that go into it. I mean, I know that's like a very thin argument because they're making a lot more money than their servers actually cost. But at the same time, if everyone had the mentality, I'm going in this free to play, then World of Tanks would sit there going, we're not making any money, we're going to shut this down.
Yeah. And there has been, I've seen some studies, we talked about this before on other shows and even on this one, that people will spend more money every month on microtransactions than they will on a subscription.
Yep.
So, all right. That everybody has said their piece with this? All right.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so real quick, before we go on to our next topic, remember, everybody, if you want to ask a question for the Q&A session, we'd like you to ask them soon, because later on it's a little hard to get the questions in at the very end if we think we've only got 10 questions and 10 more come in at the very end. So please just put your question in brackets, just write the word question in brackets, and Pancakes will grab it up and stick it in the chat so we can do these questions. So, all right, Pancake, I want you to sing a song. That's good enough.
But not Happy
it's a
Birthday.
small
'Cause then-
world after all.
and redacted.
Yeah, take that back. We're losing viewers. Like 7 people just left.
Now we got 30. What have you done?
Real quick.
Oh, that's all right. We'll just get in the Disney crowd. It's good.
Pancakes is going to BlizzCon. I'm super jelly.
What flavor?
Grape.
Concord grape or that fake purple?
No,
grape?
Concord for sure.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Theory crafting.
Yay.
Yay. So, I have no idea what you guys wanted to talk about with this, so I'm just going to let you take the wheel, Mr. Core.
I thought Trendane had some questions that he would like to ask.
Questions.
Oh.
Did you?
Okay. I do. Yeah, I do have a couple. I just didn't. I thought we were going to cover it in the Q&A section, but that's okay. It's okay.
No, we were going to talk about. There was something you guys said you wanted to talk about. So I
right. Yeah, I've got several things here. Sorry, were you about to say something, Cor?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. For one, just for my own sanity, is okay. So it's Cloud Imperium Games is making the game, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now RSI
is a fictitious company that
within the game.
Yes, that makes several of the ships. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And for some reason,
using them interchangeably.
They worked out a way to like sell other companies' ships and make all the profit for it.
Yeah, there's some kind of scam going on with that.
Google. Excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Google. They rape you both directions.
We call that spit roasting. And so there was
I didn't need to know that. Focus.
So I recently recorded the narration. Well, I started recording the narration for the Origin Jumpworks Corporation. And
before we go on with that, tell everybody about what you're doing, so that there's some new viewers here tonight that might not know what you're talking about.
Oh well, for you new people. One of the things that I do is I take the galactic guides that are posted on the RSI forums, which is apparently not the CIG forum. See, this is where the confusion comes in for me. And so I take the galactic guides, which feature data on all these different star systems and companies and historical data points and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And since, as we've already covered in this particular episode of the podcast, there are a lot of people who don't like to read. So it is therefore the responsibility of narrators and voice actors like myself to go through and narrate the things so that you can just be flying along in your interspaceship name here and just let it play. Now, the ultimate dream is to have that part of your starship's AI. You can just call up a library entry on whatever system you're going to, or maybe you're sitting in a bar and you're Moby-Glash, like, I want to go over to Keel. What's in the Keel system? And you open up your Moby-Glass and it tells you and everything like that. So the most recent of the narrations that I've been working on is the one for Origin Jumpworks. And in that article, one of the things that it says is it's specifically talking about piracy, the company's position on piracy. And it says the 300 series is never a smuggler or aggressor. And it makes me wonder, will the NPC company, if you as a player character are a pirate and you are known to be a pirate, good luck getting into UEE space anyway, but if you go to the showroom on Terra or in New Austin or Prime, the cities there, mm-hmm. And you go to the dealership, if the company knows that you're a pirate, will they refuse to sell you a ship?
Well, judging from what it says, yes.
Or you could say that money is money and they won't ask questions.
Well, that's where the theory crafting comes in. I mean, how far is the gray market, which only wants money, and the black market, which specializes in contraband, gonna be a factor? Because of course you'll have the gray market NPCs, which are basically like all profit all the time. We don't care if you're evil or good or makes no difference. Just give us money. And you're going to have the black market, which, of course, deals in all the shit that's supposedly illegal, scrubbed chips, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be able to get it that way as well. But the question is whether or not the gray market is going to be an overarching theme, or if it's just going to be there's one or two companies that do that sort of stuff.
With Origin, it would... I mean, the reputation is kind of on the line there.
Yeah.
So they would...
Yeah, but I mean, you could have a pirate that steals one. I mean, as far as I know, the 300 is not the greatest pirate ship out there anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me read the full paragraph. It'll give us a better context.
Read the paragraph and do it in your voice.
I'm going to.
Yes.
I'm even turning towards the microphone, so it sounds.
All right, everybody, be quiet. We're listening to Trendane.
This is how.
His
this
rendition?
is how I actually record them.
Okay.
And I reserve the right to screw this up because I haven't pre-read it in a while. The only standard is the customer. Origin makes a clear point not to associate their craft with piracy. The company spends billions on anti-piracy efforts and has been known to refuse sale to pirates attempting to purchase their craft in person on Terra. Erstwhile rogues should not fear, though, as secondary market for the 300 series spacecraft is robust. Nevertheless, the effort is largely paid off. The 300 is known as a law-abiding bounty hunter ship at its roughest and is never an aggressor or a smuggler. I transposed some of those, but
it works.
Yes. And yes, Jareth, I will do the voice if they allow custom voice packs. I will do the voice for your hitters.
That would be cool. I had one for my TomTom. It was what's his name? Eddie Izzard was doing my TomTom.
My voice. God,
it was so awesome. It was really great. So yes, I'd love to have custom voice packs. That'd be cool.
Eddie Izzard.
That'll be the $50 million stretch goal.
That is. Eddie Izzard is doing your voice pack. All right. So that's good. Go ahead, Core.
Probably the manufacturer or any, Origin dealer will not sell to roguelikes. But again, like I said, it's a question of how much they're going to extend into gray market, which is probably going to be dealers that sell all kinds of ships and don't really care about your affiliation. Mm-hmm. And you're also going to have black market who, of course, really don't care and just want money.
I mean, there might be used ship dealers.
Yeah.
It's just like there's used car dealers, and maybe Mercedes won't sell to a drug dealer, but drug dealers are going to get that car either way. So, yeah.
Or maybe UEE is going to do what modern police forces today do, where, they take over ships or find wrecks of pirates, and just at the end of the month hold this huge auction for all this stolen contraband and stolen ships that they've got for extremely low bidding prices, and just say, all right, we've got all this, we impounded it, give us money and we'll give you this stolen contraband. I mean...
See, in that case, I would expect that Origin would, given their position on piracy, that they would have a contract specifically with the government that their craft don't get offered up like that. That they get returned back to the thing, they get refurbished, whatever, something like that. But I mean, I would imagine that part of the billions of credits to fight against piracy, that's probably part of it.
It would be awesome if they had auctions like that, though. I mean,
I agree.
Awesome. All right, so we've gone an hour now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. I'm going to stop the broadcast, and we will come, because last time I put it up, it had a 5-minute break in the middle, and everyone got all upset. So I'm going to stop the broadcast this time, but we will be right back. While we're gone, please put the questions in, because we're going to question and answer time when we come back. We'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll go on for as long as it takes to go through all the questions. All right? So we will see you all very, very soon. Be right back.